Hi, this is John Spence, and I've put together with Peter Hawkes the Springer Handbook of Microscopy. Imaging has really had a huge impact on all of our lives recently, from hospital MRIs, CAT scans to the Hubble telescope. And this has resulted in 4 Nobel Prizes recently in this general field. We're interested in microscopies, for example, in the MRI, cryo-EM, the CCD detector, and super-resolution optical microscopy have all received Nobels in the last decade or so. The book is huge. It's 1,500 pages, a real doorstop, but we tried to make it comprehensive with a chapter on all the modern techniques and the recent developments in them to provide a unified and pedagogically sound, coherent account. And we really did scour the world for the best people, as you can see, from all around the world, and spent well over a year. This is an update of an earlier book in 2006, finding people who could write well, produce pedagogically sound, in-depth technical articles on all of these things. I was extremely lucky to be working with Peter Hawkes. You just could not have a better co-editor for his thoroughness and his care in putting together a beautifully produced book, but also an international leader in his own field, for which he wrote a chapter on aberration correction. I just want to comment on microscopy in general and its power as explanatory power. The ancient Greeks thought that matter consisted of atoms, but that idea was lost until we find in, Leeuwenhoek, of course, was the great modern inventor of the optical microscope in Holland, but also Hooke in London around the same time, 1700, published his Micrographica, drawing out what he saw in his first microscope with pencil and paper, of course. They had no photography. And he noticed that the facets on the crystals were at sharp angles, and these were the angles formed by a pile of cannonballs. That suggested that matter consists of atoms. And it's interesting that Richard Feynman said once that if there was only one fact we could pass on to the next generation, it should be, after some calamity when practically everyone's killed, it should be that matter consists of atoms. So a lot of the book is about these atomic resolution microscopies. As for my own career, I started out in physics in Australia, in Melbourne, worked in Oxford in England, and then came to Arizona, where I've been teaching condensed matter physics. I got, most of that time was spent with John Cowley and the electron microscopy effort there. And so it is that Jem Menzuo and I have just produced our own textbook for Springer called Advanced Electron Microscopy. But over the last 10 years or more, I've been mainly involved with this consortium, a large NSF-funded consortium led by Ed Latman and now Ed Snell and myself, on using X-ray lasers in biology. The Department of Energy, in its wisdom, decided to build the world's first X-ray laser around 2009, and we were lucky to be involved with that and to propose for its use, following Janos Hoyder's earlier suggestion in a famous paper in Nature in 2000 for biology with Henry Chapman. And that's worked out very well. I've really seen 2 revolutions in microscopy that I've been involved in the last 10 years. One was the ability of these X-ray lasers to outrun radiation damage, and the other has been the development of lensless imaging, which is having a dramatic impact, as we see, for example, in the development of tychography. I think that was a remarkable experience when the first X-ray laser, hard X-ray laser, was started in 2009, because the brilliant design of those SLAC engineers and accelerator physicists made an instrument which simply worked when they turned it on. I mean, things either laze or they don't laze. And in April 2009, they pushed the start button and it worked. Got a bright dot, bing. For those of us who are lucky enough to have a salary, it's actually freed up a lot of time, and I've got more work done and done more writing than otherwise. I have been into work occasionally. We've done experiments in my lab with a sparse crew of people to keep morale up and get some social contact. I think with COVID, there are many people know far more about this than I do, but We've just never seen such a concentration of effort by scientists around the world. In BioXFEL, this NSF consortium, we're really focusing on protease inhibitors. You might recall that AIDS virus, there never was a vaccine developed, but yet we think of it as cured, and that's a combination of drugs. And that's an approach that may also eventuate with COVID. I've been asked how I got into all this and what keeps me passionate about science. I think I was just lucky to be born with an intense curiosity and perhaps too much imagination. We don't choose our parents, so both our genetic and financial inheritance are pure luck. And those who are fortunate enough to be curious have a great resource in life, I think, which makes for a high quality of life regardless of the uncertainties of fame and fortune.